Hey y'all, it's Dr. Know-It-All. As you can see here, I'm on very low battery, but I'm going to try to drive to work and then to a supercharger with 11.4.7 because I finally got it. It was quite the struggle to get it. But anyway, we're going to see how it works. This is the very first drive. It literally just finished installing and I was like, I'm going to go out and drive. So here we go. We engage. We are now in the hands of the computer. Of course, for people who don't know, I obviously have a hand on the steering wheel at all times just to monitor it, but the car is driving itself, and I will, of course, let you know. You will be able to tell if I have to intervene, if this little steering wheel up here, if this little blue guy turns any other color. So first little challenge here is, of course, we're in a road that's an unmarked, there's no lanes here. Oh, this is going to be really interesting. I have not I've not been in a situation with a school bus with a red light. Oh, we just missed it. That would have been really interesting to have seen. I would expect the car would of course stop for that, but I do not know. So we avoided that. Unfortunately, I actually would have been a great test as a beginning from coming out of here. So I guess the first test is going to be this stop sign, because the stop sign is way back here, but the actual line is way up here. So I believe that is correct. Yes, okay, so it actually stopped at the stop line instead of the stop sign. And now it's coming out. So the next thing is that in the past, this road here that I'm pulling out onto, okay, so that's interesting. A little bit hesitant, a little hesitant. It did it, but that was very hesitant. I think it was debating whether that car was coming. Anyway, yes, right there, that's the problem. It thinks that this speed limit on this road is 25 and not 50, which is just silly. So anyway, unfortunately, we have not gotten an update for that. That would be nice, because as soon as we pass this 50-mile-an-hour sign right here, all of a sudden it will now kick up to 50. So anyway, that's a little unfortunate that hasn't been fixed, but I also didn't expect it to be fixed until we got to version 12. I just thought that was probably the likelihood. So if you have not seen, let's see how it handles this truck coming up. Okay, it actually handled that very well. It did, you saw it turn it blue, so it was paying attention to it, and now it turned the Volkswagen blue, and then it went back punch buggy lavender. No punchbacks. Okay, so anyway, I keep getting interrupted because lots of interesting stuff is happening. By the way, you'll see that this is rush hour. It's 5:08, or at least it's very busy traffic, and we're also heading into a football weekend. So it's Thursday, so it's not that busy yet, but it's probably a little bit busy. Anyway, so there'll be things happening. I also expect this light is very slow. I never go this way when I drive myself. I wish I could give it an alternative route so it would take this back road. Now it should get into the left lane because that is the shorter of the two lanes in terms of cars. So I don't have a way of guaranteeing that it did it because that was the shorter of the two. I think most of the time it just attempts to get into this lane anyway. So yeah, I don't know if you can see out there, but you see how slowly the traffic is moving in front of us because everything is very backed up. So yeah, so like I said, rush hour. So it'll be a much, much slower drive. I'll get a little of that Elon Musk Palo Alto during rush hour driving where everything is very slow. But anyway, if you have not seen my videos on Full Self-Driving 12 yet, check them out. I've got four because I just released one with Farzad today, and that one was a lot of fun. And he and I spent a lot of time talking about the little inner workings of things. Hopefully this microphone is close enough to my voice. Anyway, so yeah, so definitely check those out. I will of course leave those. I'll probably actually leave those in the description because there's so many of them, and I think it's easier for people to look in the description. But I will also put cards up on top or something like that. So anyway, we will see what happens with this light. I'm a little surprised it hasn't. Oh, there it goes. As soon as I said it wasn't going to change. Now the interesting thing is that there's a lot of traffic out on Atlanta Highway here, so we will see how it, I guess it had enough room to get out, so no big deal. Okay, and it's cutting this corner. Interesting. That if a person was in that turn lane, that would have obviously been a problem, but it doesn't turn out to be that way. So this is also interesting. I can already see that we're taking an alternate route. Usually we would go to the right, but I think what it's guessing is that well, it's figuring that the traffic is so bad that it wants to take sort of the northern route around and see how things are going. So in the meantime, you guys don't really care about the navigation. I cared about it, but the car is attempting to get into the right lane. I don't quite know why. So we have a long ways to go. We still have 0.6 of a mile to go, and you can tell we're not going to get there very fast. Everything is very backed up, but it is very definitely attempting to get into the right lane, but it's also bailing. That was really funny because it actually could have done that right there. So interestingly enough, it is making an attempt. I think that's why it's dinging at me. Yeah, so it's now identified that car right there as the cars that it can go between, but it's also, so I don't know exactly what's going to happen here, because it is, it's both trying to get into that lane, but also at the same time not being aggressive enough. Everybody was letting it in. Oh, that Ioniq 6 is kind of cool looking right there. Do you see that? That's really cool. Anyway, yeah, it's like a, I don't know, sort of like a Volkswagen design or something. But anyway, so sorry, getting phone calls. So anyway, we will see what happens with this. But this person in front of me should definitely go through this intersection. I'm not sure why they're not, because there's plenty of room. But the car is clearly trying to get over. It's doing it probably a little bit too aggressively still. Yeah, so it's having a time of it. It's really trying, but it's also having a really tough time, because it's not sort of sticking around. It should just, if it's going to do it, it should turn the turn signal on and just go. But we will see what happens, because I think people are actually trying to let it in, because the turn signal is on, you can see. So it's actually making an attempt to do this, but we will see what happens. It should actually right up there at the light. So, okay, so this thing's turn signal is on. I'm just going to let it ride, and I'm sorry to all the people behind me. This is not the right kind of thing to do. You would normally want to like not have your turn signal on until you were, committed to actually doing that action. But the car, it's just going to sit there and turn its turn signal on and on and on and on and on. So I don't know if that person, okay, so that GMC is going. Yep, okay, a little bit unassertive, but anyway, so now it should definitely get over. Oh, good, okay, so that was actually the time that I would have suggested it get over, and it's going to go over one too far. I would have stayed in the middle lane personally, because there's more of a chance of getting through the traffic light. I don't think that we're going to get through this traffic. Yeah. In fact, we wouldn't have either way, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, so rush hour traffic, this is a little extra thing. I usually drive when it's a little freer, but I'm going to be very curious, because you can see we're only going to have 9% when we get to my work, and then I'm going to plug in a supercharger right after that so that we will go there. But I wanted to go to work first, because I wanted to get to I wanted to go on the highway and have that transition. Now this will be interesting, because this woman who is coming out with, I don't know what kind of car that is. It's a kind of a dusty blue color car. Anyway, whatever that car is, it would be correct for me to let her through before I go, because I'm the person who's next up. Now the person in front of us might actually go ahead and do that, because they could also make that choice. But if they didn't, I would be the one who should do that. That would just be the correct kind of niceness behavior, whatever you want to call that. So anyway, hopefully it will do that, but I also have no idea. And of course, normally I would intervene if it wasn't going to, and I would allow the person through, but in this case I'm just going to let it ride and see what the car decides to do, because I'm very interested in that. So also, you can see that Chevrolet Silverado up there, just making sure that this thing is working. Yep, okay. Just making sure that the microphone's still on. Anyway, that Chevrolet Silverado is going to try to pull into this lane. That's one of the reasons why I don't go into this lane until late, because like everybody pulls over, and so if you're in this lane, you're just going to sit here forever, because everyone's merging into your lane. So I would normally be in the other lane so that I didn't have to contend with that, and I was one of the people merging. So just one of those things you learn, and the car is behaving less than optimally. So here we can see that my vehicle is not being, yeah, that was a jerk. It was not a nice thing to do. It should have been kinder about that, but it wasn't. So anyway, this will be, I don't know why it's quite so snarly. So the car should actually stop here, but it's not. I'm going to let it ride again, because we did get through. I mean, we're through the intersection, and also the walk sign was on. It hadn't even gone to the flashing, hand thingy yet. So I figured we were safe about getting through that intersection, but it was a little bit of a dicey situation in terms of that. But yeah, this is crazy. Look at the amount of traffic here. That's pretty nuts. So anyway, normally I would take a right up here where it says East 7810, but instead it looks like it's figured that we need to route a little bit different direction because of how busy traffic is. And so yeah, this person in this Accord has decided to pull in. Yeah, I mean, look at the number of people who are merging. So again, like I said, I would normally have been in the left lane to be more efficient. So that's going to be really interesting, because version 12, again, completely new software rewrite. It's not completely new. It's the finishing of an evolution of the software, but it's really, really predicated on human behavior and not heuristic code about what it should be doing. It's just learned what it's supposed to be doing. And if it's learned properly, it would have learned about being in the proper lane for those types of traffic situations, and it would just know that. So it will be better at that kind of a situation than this car was right now. So anyway, we will see. I'm gonna dial this down to 70 here. Okay, so anyway, it should merge. Let's see how it handles the merge. It's always bad at this. Ever since 11 dot whatever, it's been, that was okay. It's still, I would have merged earlier, and also the car should get over out of this lane. So that is the correct behavior. To faster. Yeah, it said faster lane. It actually should be getting out of that lane because people are merging, but I don't know. Consider it as you will, but that was correct behavior. I was satisfied that it got out of the way of all the other traffic that was slower in the slower lane. So anyway, so yeah, now we got 6 miles on the highway, and it's done pretty well so far. And then we're going to get off at North Avenue. Okay. So, like, this is not the normal way that I go, but it's an alternate route, and I assume because everything's so crowded, it's decided it needed to go that way. So I'm going to do a little checkup on the 8%. Yeah, it's gonna be dicey. I'm going to get to the supercharger with very little battery left, but that's okay. Why not do 2 tests at the same time? Let's go ahead and go for it. So yeah. Anywho, just to keep up with traffic, go a little bit faster in order to make sure that we're maintaining speed and not slowing anybody else down. Normally it just has that by itself. I was actually dialing it down for you guys because I know people complain sometimes about how much how fast I go and stuff like that, whatever. So anyway, I'm just trying to keep up with the correct traffic patterns here, not trying to do anything crazy. But you can see that's about what traffic is moving at, more or less. So anyway, yep. So it looks like it's, in terms of highway behavior, this seems very, very adequate. No problem at all. Oh, I just realized when I have it full screen, it actually tells me what battery percent is left when I get there. Fortunately, I don't have to get like all the way home again to the supercharger. It's about halfway home, and it's through the city, so I'll get some like nice driving on the city traffic, and there's a left turn in there. There's a couple of interesting things that should happen depending on the route that it takes to get to the supercharger. There's a new one that's a 250 kilowatt supercharger, which is awesome. So very happy about that. And yep, so anyway, seems to be working pretty well. I have not had to intervene yet, although it was was a little bit weird about the way that it tried to merge over and over and over again. That I would have, under normal circumstances, taken it out of full self-driving and left it in the middle lane until we got past that light, and then allowed it to merge or merged myself. So, just telling you that if I wasn't doing a test, I would have pulled it out at that point, and I would have said, yeah, I'm taking over, because that's just annoying to sit there with the turn signal on and then end up in the slower lane and just be stuck there forever because it merged in too soon. So, but that's a lot of local knowledge. Somebody pointed out today, I'm sorry, I don't remember who on X, but somebody was pointing out that you really see this car shine when you drive the full self-driving beta in a town that you're not used to, because those are the circumstances where you don't have that local knowledge. Like, I knew exactly how the traffic was going to work back there because I've done it so many times, because it's where I live. But the deal is that if I didn't live there, of course I would have merged over earlier, and I would have been sitting there just like the car did. So the really interesting thing that you see is when you're in an environment where you're not familiar and you don't know the tricks of the trade and stuff, where you can judge the car pretty harshly. If you're in that situation, then the car really feels like it drives even better. Right now, it's like I can nitpick about every little thing, that because I have so much local knowledge, I know that I could do this, and I could do this, and I could do this, and make the trip just that much more efficient or whatever. But without that local knowledge, like if you came here and you didn't live in Athens and you came and drove this area, you would probably say like, oh wow, this car does great. It does better than I do, because it's handling the navigation and all of the nuances of the traffic better than I do when I'm not a native to the area. So very, very different experience when you're driving in a town that you're not used to. So I really like it when I go to Springfield, even though I know Springfield and Washington, D.C. area reasonably well. I don't really go out that much. It's, it's because my parents are kind of shut-ins for a long time, and so I used to more when they were not such shut-ins. But because of that now, I don't really go out that much. So if I need to go someplace, I definitely put it in full self-driving, and I let the car handle it because it does so much of a better job than I would do myself just on the navigation. There's a lot of stuff in the DC area where you have to be, there'll be like 6 lanes and you have to be in one of those lanes. It's not like you can't be in like the right 3 or something. You have to be in the exact 3rd from the right. And so it just handles that stuff way better than I would. And I oftentimes just make a wrong turn or get into the wrong lane on the highway in that situation. And then I'm like, well, crap, now I got to bail out of this stuff. So this will be interesting. So right around now, it should be thinking about getting over to North Avenue to make this exit. It has not yet. Usually, there we go. I was going to say we're going to see the car turn blue. That's normally what happens when it does that. That's its clue to you that that's the car that it's paying attention to right now. And if it's red, it's like a danger sign. But if it's blue, it's like that's the car that I'm going to try to go squeeze into or something along those lines. Okay, so it handled the highway perfectly well, handling the exit a little bit violent off of there, but not a big deal. And coming off of this, and geez, I never take this exit. This is very unusual. So I sometimes get on the highway this way, but I never actually get like off the highway this way. So this is actually a yield. And as far as I can tell, nobody's coming. So, oh wow, that was a really good yield. Usually the car kind of stops, hesitates, does all of this stuff. And that was actually excellent. Okay, good. Okay, a little bit too much. I mean, I realized that guy wasn't coming out and coming into our lane, but it was something that at least was reasonable. This guy is edging out, and it sort of highlighted it blue for a second, but then it went back to gray again. So it's definitely handling this. That was a nice little lane change. Oh, you get to see Athens in the distance from like I said, I don't usually come this way, so this is very cool. I don't usually get to see the city from this direction. So very nice. Yeah. All right. I guess this guy's pulling to the left. I don't know what the heck he's doing. There we go. Okay. No turn signal, no nothing. I mean, if you think the car like has foibles in terms of driving sometimes, just try humanity. Humanity is pretty goofy. So you get a sense of how hilly Athens is. Okay, so here's a person very, 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 very slowly crossing the road. Seems incredibly unfazed. And how is the car handling it? So yeah, I think that's too excessive in terms of slowing down, but it did a good job. I mean, I guess better to be excessively cautious than to not be excessively cautious. So that was good. And now, okay, gonna get the stop at the red light. Don't know why we have a turn signal on. We definitely do not need a turn signal here. Yeah, that was weird. All right. Cool. That was good. It's actually behaving very well. And it's kind of fun because it's driving like I get so used to the routes that I go all the time that I'm like just know it so well. So this is kind of fun that this is different. Now this, as soon as we cross this light, this is all stuff that I drive all the time. In fact, I just drove this direction this morning. So, or not this morning, this afternoon, to get to the climbing gym is that away. So anyway, okay, so this truck is kind of sticking out in our lane, but all right, I was cool with that. And this is funky too. Watch, it goes underneath the trestle. Try this with radar, by the way. This would not work with radar. You would have so many bad signals. In fact, I remember that when I had the first version of full self-driving was it had radar, and the light is going to change on me. So yeah, we should stop here. So cool. Okay. So again, all of the right behavior. Okay, cool. So I don't think I'll let it go quite to my parking lot just because, well, I don't know. We'll see. It depends. But I'll redirect it towards the supercharger, and I will definitely put in supercharger because that is a trick to make the battery warm up or cool down or whatever it is. It gets to the temperature that it needs to get to in order to charge efficiently. And so if you're ever going to a supercharger, don't just drive there. Always tell it that you're going to the supercharger, because that gives it the clue that it needs to start conditioning the battery. So That was a little, I don't know. The turn signals are always goofy. Like, it's just these random turn signals that don't mean anything. It's just like, it was going straight. But maybe it thought that it was actually going that direction. Apologies about this. I put in do not disturb. Yep, I'm in do not disturb mode. I do not know why. Okay, so again, that was like a left-hand turn signal. That's probably gonna bug the people behind me. But again, it like turns it on, but it doesn't actually go there. So it's kind of weird. I don't really have a good explanation for that. So anyway, we will see how this goes. I'm almost to work, right? Actually, it's 0.6 miles. So, of course, very slow through town. So welcome to the, what would this be? The eastern edge of downtown Athens? I think so. I think we're heading south right now. That's the west. Yeah, so, all right. And we're clearly going straight still. And yeah, at rush hour, wow, I know this isn't Palo Alto, and I know it's not as busy as California, but it's you know, it's been relatively busy here. So this is a very different feel. Like if this was like 10 o'clock at night, I would have made this trip and been back home again practically by now. It would have been a whole lot faster instead of sitting in traffic all this time. The good part about this is that this car is in, you can see the blue line, it's in the correct lane for where we're trying to go, so it should handle this perfectly well. Doesn't have to do any last-minute lane changes, just has to stay the course. So the left-hand lane is turning left, the right-hand lane is turning right, and this lane is the straight lane, so it's good. And again, you know, the chevrons are good. So this has been very good so far. I really apologize. It's my parents' like housekeeper or caregiver or whatever you want to call her. Anyway, she is just texting the heck out of me. So, hey, why lie? Feed weed. Okay, well, there you go. I guess the guy wants some weed. We are, after all, in Athens. It's got a little bit of an Austin vibe if Austin was like still a baby city. So it's got kind of that feel to it. And if we went that direction a couple of blocks, the problem with Athens is it's only like 3 blocks this direction like this, and then about maybe 5 or 6 blocks that way. So the downtown is kind of fun and it's funky and everything, but it's just way, way smaller than Austin is, which actually might be an advantage. I mean, honestly, these days, things are, Austin's gotten kind of out of control in terms of size and everything. Oh, and by the way, I don't know if I've told people this yet or not, but I will tell you all second. I told people on X and my Patreon patrons first, but I'm going to the Cybertruck delivery event. There were several people who purchased a vehicle from me, and if you were interested, you can get $500 off if you click the link in the description. It's in every one of my videos, so all you have to do is just check it out. But anyway, because I had 3 people purchase Model 3s and Model Ys from me, I was able to get an invitation to the Cybertruck delivery event, which we have no idea when it's going to happen. And yes, everybody's already asked me. My wife is going. She has first dibs. Sorry. Misinformation always gets first dibs on that kind of a thing. Anyway, but if she wasn't, I would have definitely entertained other people's offers and whatever. Not that I wanted anything from it, but I'm just saying a lot of people very kindly asked and said they would love to do it, and I was like, cool. I would do that if she weren't going with me, but she is, unless something really weird happens and she's unable to because the date is something strange. But anyway, if that happens, then I got a big list of people who want to go. So probably start at the top. You know, going ballistic is at the top. Scott is definitely up at the top of that list because he definitely wants to go. So anyway, sorry about that. If you're not Scott, you're probably not going to go because he would definitely be second at this point. And he definitely asked first. So he has it double. I owe him quite a bit for all the videos, and also he asked first. So he's definitely doubly the one. But anyway, that'll be fun. I have no idea what to expect about that. I just hope I get a drive in it. Like, I mean, if they're doing this delivery event, okay, car. Ooh, what is it doing? This person behind me is like, what are they doing? So yeah, that was bad. So again, I would have normally disengaged, but I'm leaving it. It's just out now. It's just like sitting in the middle of 2 lanes, which is not cool. So it's kind of goofy that it's doing that kind of a thing. I think it just gets confused and then it sees the left turn lane, but it could have more aggressively pulled into the right lane or used its navigation information better. So anyway, so my office with the parking lot, it's actually, my office is a quarter mile away from the parking lot, but the parking lot is just past the red light. My goodness, she will not stop. I do have it on Do Not Disturb. I do not know why it should not be actually like sending text messages through at this point. But anyway, So I'm going to, and you know what? I'll actually let it make a turn because it'll come up here. There's another red light after this green light that just changed, and I can make a right-hand turn there and actually go through campus. And while I'm doing that, I will plug in the supercharger location while we're doing that. In fact, I actually might just do that as soon as we get through this light, assuming I get through this light. You never know. Everything gets so backed up here on campus. The lights are just dumb. I mean, this is just, okay, now how's it going to handle this? Because that, ooh, that's dicey. It's not the ideal way to get through. It should be snugging up against these other people. All right. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and let it make a turn here, and then it should end its navigation at this point. I'm not exactly sure where. I mean, yeah, it's like there. Anyway, I'm going to pull it out before it tries to go into the parking lot because I don't want it to do that. So, okay. So I'm going to disengage, but that's just because of navigation stuff, and we'll end the trip. Navigate to a supercharger. And hopefully, Thomas Street, 0.3 miles, no, destination charger. That's not what I want. Oh, goodness. I don't know why it's, wow, there's actually a lot of these things around here. I actually want, oh, there we go. That's the one I want. It's the new one, so I didn't know what the actual address was, but I'm sure that's the one. Let me just make sure. That should be 250 kilowatts before I engage. Whoops. Sorry, folks. I'm doing a bad job of driving here. Kroger. No, I don't want the Kroger. I want the supercharger. Boop. Okay, 250. Yes, okay. All right, let me just pull out here since I've annoyed the heck out of the guy behind me. And I will put it into full self-driving mode. There we go. Sorry about that. I should have had it in full self-driving. That was not exactly my finest hour in terms of driving. I was just sort of staring at the screen trying to figure out which one. Sorry, it's the supercharger is brand new. I've been to it just twice, but I couldn't remember what the address was. So we're going to get, at least it says it's only going to be 7% when we get there, so that's good. I was a little bit worried it might be less than that, but I guess driving this slowly, you don't really use a lot of battery power. So anyway, we're going to come out, make a left, terrible traffic, back onto Broad Street, down Broad Street. Looks like it gets better after that, and then over into the parking lot. Yeah, so there we go. Anyway, that's the route. So it's relatively straight, but this road, all of this stuff is just icky. The traffic is bad. I don't know that we'll get out on this next light sequence because, again, with it being rush hour, it's just really icky. Also note, just keep an eye out for humans, for pedestrians here, because of course we've got students around, and like there was that one guy who walked across the road, and clearly the car dealt with that. But also, you never know when a student's just going to come walking out right across the street, even though they don't have the right of way. So it's always interesting to see how the car handles that kind of stuff. And hopefully we will make this. Yep. All right. Cool. It's a little bit of a funky turn it's doing here. Yeah, because that was, all right, and that was actually the correct move. So I thought it was going to pull into the left lane and then have to move over to the right, but that was actually the right thing to do because we needed to be in the right lane. And yeah, and it's okay, so this crosswalk here, okay, I mean, it's a lot, there's a lot of cars in that other lane. There's a lot of stuff happening. There was a crosswalk and it actually handled that all really well. Now it's doing a weird thing where it's actually, I think it's trying to make like a wide turn. Like it's actually trying to swing out and make a turn that direction. But now we've got to turn on red, so let's see how that works. I do not know what the car is going to do, whether it's going to make an attempt to make a turn on red or not. So we've got the four-way walk sign. This guy's going. And yeah, that was not confident, but that's a new light sequence there. They didn't used to have a separate walk sign. It used to be like, okay, so let's see how it handles this guy. All right, it seems to be, oh no, okay. So he slowed down and stopped, so I think that's actually correct. I'll give it that. I mean, I don't think that was bad. Yeah, a little weird, but it was okay. And then let's see, we have yet another gridlock opportunity. And again, I would probably have done this, although I would snug up against this Equinox up here just a little bit closer because I'd want to get fully out of that intersection. So yeah, this is it is Athens, and it's not like something crazy, but there's definitely some stuff going on. So it's visualized this person, it's turned her blue. So that's a good sign. It means that it's paying attention to her. And yeah, Okay, good. So it was when you see something blue in the full self-driving, it means it's actually paying attention. It's like that's a thing that I actually am worried about right now. So that's actually really cool to see that, and I'm very happy that is happening. And we will definitely not make this light, but hopefully we'll make the next one. So you're getting the full tour of all of Athens. And just imagine in 2 days, it's going to be football Saturday, first football game of the year, Georgia National Championships 2 years in a row. This place is a madhouse. This route that I just took from my office, well, first of all, you couldn't even get there because it's all blocked off for the parking for the football people. But assuming you could do that, it would be this little part would have probably taken an hour and a half or 2 hours to get out. So generally speaking, you try to walk if you can from any kind of a distance because it's a little bit much. But yeah, hopefully the next light sequence we will make, although I'm still not sure about that. That's a good question about that. Okay, still got battery. Just checking. Since we're taking the long way here. But yeah, if we have to wait another one, if I don't have anything interesting to say, I might just kind of skip it so you get to go forward. Now, interesting. That's weird because it doesn't say it's preconditioning the battery. Huh? That's very odd. 8 minutes. I don't know. I guess it'll be fine. Anyway, we'll see. Maybe it's not actually that hot. It's actually 31 centigrade right now. So what is that, like mid 80s something? I don't know. It's warmish, but we had a lot of rain with the hurricane, and that knocked the temperature down a lot. The weekend before last weekend was just it was unbelievably hot and humid. That's the thing you get around here. It's not just hot. It's hot and really humid, and so it's just ugly. So. Yeah, I don't think we're ever going to get across this. This is like the world's longest light. It's like super long, and then people clog up Broad Street, so you can't get out into it anyway. It's almost to the extent where I would go through the light in the other lane and come around and make 2 left-hand turns and a right to get back on the road. It would probably be faster to do that. So, and then you can see that they've also got a walk light at the same time. So it's pretty crazy. Like it's not. Athens traffic flow, like the people who manage this stuff are not good at it. They could do a much better job and traffic could flow much better, but small town woes, I guess that's that kind of thing that you never know. So anyway, we've only got 5 seconds, so we're definitely not going to make this light. So more than likely I will. Oh, I didn't realize that it would keep going after the walk sign stopped. Maybe we will. Let's see if the car decides. Okay. Oh, good call. I mean, I think that's correct. If I was the car behind, I would have stopped, but I think that was the correct call for it to go. The car behind me did not stop. He went through too. But anyway, I'm just saying, to be a good driver, that would have been the correct answer. But I thought that was correct behavior because the light it changed, and we were really, I don't know if we were absolutely in the intersection, but we were basically in the intersection at that point. So it made a lot more sense just to kind of stick around and to keep going and go through that intersection as opposed to stopping. So all right. Oh wow, another red light. Yeah, like I said, all of this stuff, the flow could be so much better if the people who were managing this did a better job. Over here, I don't know if you can see, but there used to be a Holiday Inn over there. They just put up a Spring Hill Suites, and I don't know what they're putting in place of the Holiday Inn. So there are so many hotels and stuff for big events that happen. football. But for football weekends, everything is full. We're kind of sad because, of course, our basement that flooded, that was, we rent out a part of it as an Airbnb during the football games, and so it looks like we're going to lose the entire season, which is a really big bummer. That's a reasonable income stream right there, because you can charge a pretty reasonable amount for Airbnbs on football Saturdays around here. So big bummer, but such is life. Not much to be done about that one. All right. And let's see, we're still tracking at 7%. So even though this is taking a really long time, the nice part about battery operated vehicles is if you're not driving, it's really not using hardly any of the battery power. So that's all to the good. And yep. Oh wow, I don't know if you can see that crane up there, but the crane is moving around right now. Oh my goodness. And there, oh okay, somebody's picking up somebody. Yeah, that's just the kind of stuff that just clogs up traffic. Instead of pulling off to a side street, people just pick each other up in the middle of the road. Welcome to a college town. That's the kind of stuff that you get all the time around here. Now, I would be in the right lane, honestly, because, this is not good. This person should have, yeah, okay. I would be in the right lane instead of the left lane in this road because the left lane does not have a left turn arrow, and the odds are very high that somebody's going to try to make a left-hand turn and we're going to be stuck in traffic. So again, that's just the little local knowledge. It's not something that I would automatically know about if it weren't for that, but because I know that, I'm paying extra attention to it. So, all right, we will see what happens with that. Just I need a Shuck in the car with me, or Elon. Somebody come join me. We can have a nice conversation about I don't know, Elden Ring or something like that while we're talking. Somebody made a good joke about the H100s coming online and being able to play Elden Ring at like 1,000,000 frames per second or something, which was pretty funny. So that was a good one. Yeah, see, you can see if I would have been in the right lane because clearly somebody's trying to make a left-hand turn here, and so we will completely miss this light because the car decided to stick in the left-hand lane. So this is the kind of thing where this is not a safety critical intervention, but I absolutely would intervene and you know, drive. I would take over in these situations. And so this is the kind of thing where it's like the reason why people don't allow full self-driving to take over all the time, and the reason I don't is specifically for these kinds of instances, because it's like, well, come on. Like, we would have gotten through that light easily last light if we had not been sitting in the wrong lane. So I knew we were in the wrong lane. The car should have probably known that, or at least been able to make a reasonable guess at that, but it did not, so we're stuck now. And who knows that these people, if we're lucky, then everyone will go straight and nobody will be turning left, and we'll be all right. We got lucky. Okay, so we got through that time. Anyway, but we would have made it through one light sequence faster. And we're still stuck behind somebody turning left because I can see them up there. So yeah, this is definitely the wrong lane to be in right now. But we're just going to let it ride because we have no interventions so far, so why break a good thing? We're at like 36 and a half minutes here and no intervention, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, we're doing well. Okay. And still, as far as I know, the car is not preconditioning. Huh, weird. Okay. I guess maybe we've been driving long enough. Again, we should definitely be in the right lane, not the left lane. And by the way, did we just pass it or no, we're coming up on it. Ideal Bagels, best bagels in Athens. Right where that Blue Moon Electric sign is. So if you're ever in Athens, check it out. Check out Ideal Bagels. It used to be Ideal Record Company, and that's why they called themselves that. So that was their old, like I guess their signage and all that stuff. So anyway, they took over that stuff. But anyway, that's definitely that. We've got like an Einstein bagel and things like that in town, but that's very corporate. But Ideal Bagel is really good bagels. So if you're in town, you can go to a football game, you can go eat some bagels, and I'm just talking about stuff. This is the reason why I don't usually do these drives in rush hour, because it's like, holy mackerel, everything takes forever around here at rush hour. And then just remember, I'm going to sign off, and you guys can like go about your business. I'm going to go sit at the supercharger for 30 minutes or something like that to charge it up to 90%. So I'll be sitting around. Actually, there is an REI right next door, so probably what I'll do is end up walking into the REI and going to the clearance rack, or the what do they call that, the store or whatever, the one where people turn things in and you can buy stuff, and I'll probably end up spending money. So REI is happy about me. They're like, oh yeah, we're making money off this guy. There's also a little grocery store there, Fresh Market, so I'll probably go buy some eggs or something, because I know that we're out of that as well. So things to do. I will have stuff to do, and then I have to go home. Actually, Miss Information is in Atlanta right now. She is at a Dale Carnegie program, which is like a leadership program, which is really cool. Her boss at work paid for it, said he wanted her to take it and he would pay for it. So that's really cool. So this is week 1 of that. So I can't wait to find out what sort of discoveries she makes and what leadership things. It's like a 12-week program every Thursday. So she'll get done with that, and she'll just take over this channel. She'll become the leader of this channel. So I will go away. You guys will have her to contend with every single time. And yeah, anyway, no, I think it's going to be really good. It sounds like a really cool program. I don't know if anybody else has done Dale Carnegie, but if you have, definitely let me know in the comments. And meantime, I'm going to take a drink of water, because this has been a long time talking. Yeah, if you think I'm not a teacher, the fact that I've been able to fill space for almost 40 minutes now, that should give you a clue. I'm like, you see, like, you look at the clock and you're like, oh, we got 15 more minutes. It's like, stretch the lesson a little bit. Actually, it's almost always the opposite problem, which is that I have 10 times more stuff that I want to cover than have time for. Today in class, for my my intro to 3D animation class, we were covering some stuff with Photoshop, and we had new computers in the lab that we just got, and the students hadn't opened up Photoshop yet, and half of them it worked and the other half it didn't, and so the lesson plan was out the window. I had planned to get through, 3 major chunks, and I only got through 2 after that Photoshop debacle. So yeah. Anyway, this part of the road is very straight, but also very, very narrow. You can see that it's super skinny. I mean, look, like we've got the side view mirror over here is touching the double yellow, and on this side it's almost touching this. It's crazy how narrow this road is. I don't know for a fact, but I'm pretty sure that little section of road used to only be 2 lanes, and they somehow carved 4 out of it years ago. But that created the problem of that they're super narrow lanes. And anyway, I could be wrong about that, but if not, this is unusually narrow for the United States. I know this is like not at all unusual for Europe, which is why you guys have smaller cars oftentimes, but this is pretty unusual for the US. San Francisco has a lot of narrow roads too, but and I think Boston does too, some of the older sections of Boston. But anyway, but this little chunk right here is scary. I know, because actually I have great confidence in this car. It's so good at lane centering that I never worry about it like in this section, but I worry about my son who's learning how to drive. I'm like, oh, you definitely are, I get, because if you drift out of your lane at all on this section of road, not anymore, it's widened out now, but prior to that, if you drift out of your lane, you're gonna hit another car. It's not good. So again, I don't know why the car is not in the lane over from where it is, because this is not the correct lane. It's just bad lane choice, because see, now we're stuck behind a lot of traffic where we wouldn't be otherwise. So as you see other cars pulling out. Anyway, we do have to take a left up here, so it's gonna have to be done anyway. We have to get over, but I would have been in the right lane the whole time up until the part where we have to turn. So, oh, that's interesting. All right, go car. Ooh, that guy behind me almost hit us. That's the unexpected kind of stop that you have to be aware of. So, well, that person was in a very expensive looking BMW, so I think I would have been okay. So anyway, hopefully what their BMW did. Now this car, I don't know what they're doing. That Buick was like very, very hesitantly easing out into the lane. So yeah. So we have a left turn coming up, but it is not unprotected, but it is a photographed left turn. So it's one of those things where if you enter the intersection after the light has turned red, you will get a ticket in the mail. And I found that out because I got a ticket in the mail years and years ago after I first moved here, and it was like a big bummer. So it doesn't give it doesn't give you any points, but they sure love to charge you the money. So at this point, I would actually flow over into the turn lane because I can see it, but I don't know that the car is going to do that until it actually sees the official turn lane. So that BMW that actually, you see, you're going to see that. The BMW actually pulled over, so I don't know why. Oh, I think it's actually, okay, it's navigating us a different way. I would not go this way. Well, we're going to have to make an unprotected left. We're going to end the drive with an unprotected left in the most stupid, okay, so that's just bad navigation. We have a beautiful protected left turn here. We've got a left turn arrow, no problem at all, and the car is, this is, whoosh, okay. Even I'm like nervous about that. I'm like, so we're gonna have a big finish at the end of this video. I don't know. I don't understand why you would do this. I mean, see, we want to end up right here, and you come in through here and go through here. And instead, it's making this decision to go, and this is completely unprotected, and everybody's backed up. I mean, like forever on the other direction. So when the light is red, everybody's backed up down the road, and when the light is green, they're doing 50. So, again, I would have intervened at this point, but I'm letting it go. We're going to see what happens. I have no idea. We may be sitting there, like, what are we at, 44 minutes already? So we're at 44 minutes. We may be at 50 minutes, 60 minutes. Who knows how long it's going to be before we actually make this turn. There is a suicide lane, so at least we'll be out of the main traffic flow when we do it. But if it was like 10 o'clock at night, no problem. This is going to be no big deal. But right now, this is, see, I mean, look at that traffic up there. This is a terrible idea. All right, well, we're going to find out how it goes. So it needs to get over, yeah, okay. Where is it going? Oof, 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 oof. Okay, whoop, sorry, I think I did that. That was my fault. Sorry. I think I was a little bit tweaky and I think I touched it. That was not a real intervention. That was just me accidentally holding onto the steering wheel too tight because I was freaking out. So yeah, all right. Well, now at least we're out of traffic, so there's no worries and there's nobody behind us, so I'm just going to let it go. All right. The one hope that we have is that light up there turns red and blocks the traffic, but then you can see the people coming out of FedEx and out of Zaxby's and up and up and up. The people will like come and turn, and that person making a left up there has got to be pissed at me. The person coming out with that stop, I don't even know what they're doing. That's just all stupid. Nobody should make this turn at this time of day. I'm chalking this up to terrible navigation information. Whew. All right. Anyway, probably I'm going to speed this up so that you all don't have to sit here and just endure the agony of it all. But, ooh, okay. The car actually decided to jerk forward a little bit. It was like, oh, I'm going to go. Okay, so that light is red. If we are lucky, maybe. I don't know what this guy's doing. All right, that's interesting. Okay, so see, that was more confidence. So if we're lucky here, we might get a little opportunity after the next couple cars come, but this car better be aggressive about it. Let's see. Come on, car. Come on, car. Come on, car. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. No. It thought about it. Nope. It's thinking about it. Nope. It's thinking about it. All right. Is it going? Wow, that was kind of wussy, but I feel really bad for that poor woman who was trying to make a left there. Yeah, so I chalk that up to bad navigation. It did it, but there was no reason it needed to do that. So that was an unprotected left and a really atrociously bad scenario. But I think it's just because the navigation information thinks that this is the only way to get to these superchargers when it's actually not. And there we are, superchargers, woohoo! All right. Wow, that was really interesting. Actually, we might as well just go ahead and see how far are we going to get with this. So is that it? Is that it? Is that it? Okay, I guess we are in the middle of it all. Okay, so let me back up here. So I took it out. It will not do reverse. So, you know, that's life. But anyway, let me go into this one. Cool. So now, yeah, like I said, I'm going to go and spend money probably. Definitely at the grocery store, maybe at REI also. Okay, so thoughts, you could see what I could see. It looked like it was very effective. A little bit of places where it was hesitant. There's bad navigation information where it could have been in a better lane and stuff. But generally speaking, considering the circumstances, I think it actually did really well. I mean, no interventions. I know it came out of full self-driving up there, but honestly, it was because I was like freaking out and holding the steering wheel, and it tried to turn it, and I was holding it, and it went dink. So that was my fault. So anyway, it was doing the right thing. But again, just bad. The only complaints I have, honestly, are just bad navigation information. And hopefully a lot of that is going to be fixed with version 12 of the software, because it's going to have a better worldview. It's going to have a better sense of how to drive in any given environment. So I'm very much looking forward to that. But in the meantime, 11.4.7 was excellent. I give it a big thumbs up, and I'm super happy about that. All right, everybody, make sure you watch the other videos that the links I've put in the description and everything. Like, subscribe, do all of that good stuff, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.